Welcome everyone, this is Pilot News and you're listening to Loto Players News, where we take a look at Laser and Roto and here at Loto Players. And this week we have with us Krister
Hello.
and Cinders.
Hello.
Hello everyone. This week we had a small update to the game. In fact, it was such a small update that there weren't even any official release notes on them. It was update 39.2.1. It came with a very long maintenance. They put together the quarterly maintenance plus a maintenance to try to repair a few background things that may have been messed up with that extended downtime a couple of weeks ago. And when they did this, it looks like that while there weren't any official release notes, there were a couple of things that happened in that the carry-all issue was fixed. So now you can use your carry-alls again. Yay! And they opened up a tier 5 of the new raid. Though I have a feeling Krister did not do that yet.
Well, you were on my last raid. Was it tier 5?
No.
No, it wasn't tier 5.
Right.
I wouldn't have been there if it were tier 5. I was like, hold on, Mythgard needs me. Sorry. And that was it for the changes that I know of for this one. But there was a Bulwer preview. We had preview number 2. In fact, this was the first preview that actually had the content within it, which is the Umbar Moh, beneath Umbar Bahar Belt, the city of Corsairs. So this is looking into the new area in there. It's currently available for testing, and they had the side quests up so that you go into the various areas in there. Now there's a warning about a couple of areas that they had there. One was that you don't want to go to the very, very end of the spider section because they didn't have it fully closed off, and there was a point there where if you went a little bit too far, you could break the game. So just warning there, by the time it gets released, that should not be a problem, but they wanted to make sure that the playtesters knew not to go too far into there or you could lose your character, which is only a minor setback, but in the real game, you don't want it happening to you.
Yeah, I don't want to lose my character.
Right.
Yes.
So that was it. Of course, Sanswinda probably wouldn't need any warning of that at all because she probably wouldn't be going that deep into the spider area, but that's another matter.
Well, hey, you know what? I might debate you on that. If she could go into the spider area and glitch it so the world's destroyed, so those spiders never exist again, she might just risk it.
I didn't think about that possibility, but
I think you might have too much faith in her lack of squeamishness about spiders.
Too much faith in her lack of squishiness. That's awesome.
Yes. You could explore Takdar, the cellars, where the shady business deals of the black market sales take place. Ilmabiri, the wells, the sewers behind the city filled with a variety of dangers. Kamrabigzur, the vault, where it is rumored escaped gladiators dwell. Kabarhad, the crypt, where the ancestors of Umbar's past rest. Or do they rest? And Dil Emir's the birds, a flooded area that is deemed so dangerous that adventurers are discouraged from traveling there alone. That last area is the small fellowship area. So there were actually questions on it on the forums in there where they think it might currently be undertuned, and so we'll see. Whatever it is, it's not a place to go to if you are soloing, I think is what it comes down to, because someone was complaining there about the area. They were just barely able to solo it. It says, and essentially they said, okay, too easy if someone was able to solo it. And these quests are for players at level 150. since they are beneath Umbar Bahar Bell. Not included in this preview was a continuation of the songs Waves Winby. As traditional, that does not get preview the epic that normally just goes on live, so there won't be any spoilers on the matter. And they're also having Tales of the Kindred, which is a series of quests, each bestowed by Kolatek the Cunning, Hamelek the Golden Hand, Rothog the Storm, and Belundor of Langstrand. And Belundor of Langstrand, he must be the first person to be a raid boss in one release, and in the next release be a quest giver.
Well, yeah, we beat him up. He was really sad about it, and now he's our friend.
Yeah, now he's our friend. Yes. So yes.
I think
So-
we gave him cookies.
Yeah, we gave him cookies, I guess. Yes.
It's not the dark side that has cookies this time.
You're right. You got it. So those are the four members, and I noticed that we haven't heard anything about the Beast since that time that we fought her to release a certain person. And because I've been curious as to what happened to her, because she wasn't in the group that fled. She fled separately and all this stuff, but I still wasn't sure exactly whose side she's on or anything like this. And I was just wondering exactly what's going to happen with her. I guess we'll find that out someday, maybe. Also, there will be a new mission, Securing Salvage. Maltak in Umbar Bahar Bell's Eagle Tavern has an additional mission. Of course, that'll be levels 20 to 150. Securing Salvage. He has received reports of a cargo ship carrying supplies to the heirs of Castamere being crashed upon the shore of the Shield Isles. You have been asked to go there and retrieve the supplies before the heirs arrive to take it for themselves. And delvings are also available for this mission. All right. Okay, now yes. The first time I read that, I misread that. I thought it was something for the Kindred of the Coins that said, "Why are they asking us to steal from the Kindred?" No, the heirs of Casper. Oh yeah, we could freely steal from them, of course. Yes.
Well, it sounds like a legend that you tell people as they're passing through. It's like, oh, more adventurers. Yeah. If you go up the coast there about 3 miles, there's a wreck of a ship. And you don't want to go over there, but I heard there's a lot of riches. And then when they leave, they're like, another one, We'll fish their corpses out of the ocean and just
it'd be really funny if someday one that came back says, "Oh wow, look at all this treasure I found when I was there." Or it could be even worse. It'd be like the. Oh, sorry. I don't think Krister's ever done the quest, but there's a quest involving a needle in a haystack.
boy, it actually kind of sounds familiar.
Oh, you have done the needle. All right.
I believe so.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's like a long time ago quest, right? So.
No, I think it's in King's Gondor, isn't it?
Oh, then never mind. No, I haven't done it. That rang a bell for something a while back.
Oh, okay. Well, this could be a different needle in the haystack quest, but anyway, it's a classic case of fooling somebody on their own prank. All right, and let's see. And of course, and delvings will be available for that mission. So obviously, it's going to be more than just finding. Actually, most likely, I have a feeling you'll get there at the same time as the heirs do. So you probably have to fight the heirs in order to get the treasure. That would be my best guess on that one. Also, on other things of special note, for Monster Play, there are now 3 variants of siege equipment available via schematics. Normal is a 30-second construction, advanced is a 20-second construction, and superior is a 10-second construction, which I will presume then, is it cost or what? I'm not too sure what because obviously you would want the advanced and the superior because I mean that's the fastest one to build. So I'm wondering, okay, what's the price?
I would imagine they get
Yeah,
progressively more expensive.
yeah, but right, it must be more difficult to get them or something like that, I guess. All new schematics are available for graduated costs on their respective vendor. Yeah, that answers the question. Graduated costs. Yes, okay. There is now in an egress from the bottom floor of Lugazag and Tirithral that leads to the barracks of the tavern, backside of the tavern
The
of the towers.
towers.
Yeah, that's yeah. There is now an ingress point at the top of the spiral staircase appearing when the inner doors of the towers are activated. All ingress and egress interactions are usable only by the aligned faction. Attempting to summon siege equipment outside of areas where they are allowed will result in loss of the schematic and could result in player character injuries. You are warned.
It's like they know that people will try every single place they could possibly use them and will have that happen.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness, yeah.
Yes. And there are several known issues which we hope that they will fix before they do the release, so I'm not going to go into those. As for classes and skills, captain trainers will now allow you to barter mithril coins for Hobbit Herald appearances. I am sure that all those river hobbits that have been saying, when do we get our our Hobbit Heralds, are finally going to be happy about that. I don't know if Krister will ever get a Hobbit Herald appearance, or he's saying, no, I think his current
Nope.
heralds are fine.
Nope. Once I got my Oathbreaker, I'm not turning back.
Okay. And Lore Master trainers will now allow you to barter mithril coins for small bog lurker appearances. Okay, because that's good. I have been avoiding bog lurkers on my Lore Master simply because I didn't want to have to deal with such a large creature when I'm playing a Hobbit on there. That's in fact the reason why I'm almost exclusively using the links.
But now you can turn yourself into a bog lurker, so now that will work better.
So now I'll probably get one of these small bog lurkers, and that will go along with my cub because I know that when I first got my Lore Master, as soon as I was able to find a mithril vendor, I got the bear cub, so I didn't have to worry about the large bear if I ever needed the tankish type.
Oh, I thought you were saying the appearance modifier was for yourself.
No.
You into a bog lurker, which would have been pretty cool. Because then you had this bog lurker leading into the bog.
No, not for the Lore Master, for the Lore Master's pet. All right. And these can also be found on Wilson, the cosmetic pets vendor in the Isengard Tavern, if you're playing on Bulwer, that is, of course. Quest deeds and adventure areas. You should no longer drop the caber before passing through the final gate of the Forester event, unless, of course, you run out of time. So yeah, they're still working on Forester event bugs, it looks like. And also, directions to the Goblin Camp in the Infusion from the North quest line has been updated. More goblins now have a chance to drop Ketep's Cruet in Infusion from the North quest line. Highlighted the barley bread in green to call out that it is the finished apprentice product, not the Westfold ingredient.
Well, that's helpful.
All right, that's what you get when you have two things with the same name in there. And Forge New will no longer block progress for players who reforged their legendary weapons too early. This fix requires that the quest be versioned, so you'll want to pick up the quest again from the Thalion at the Forges of Rivenoak. Or better yet, if you don't have an issue currently as a result of doing this, meaning that, of course, if you're going through it in regular progress, you're probably going to finish the quest. You just finish the quest before the update so that you won't have to worry about it. But usually one does that just automatically. But yes, you're experiencing the bug. You will need to pick up the quest again, but that's better than being stuck on that quest line forever. So let's go into instances and skirmishes where Belandor's chest no longer gives a greater chance at earning his shield Varnavia from softlock chest pools. The softlock chance now matches the chance of receiving the shield from the favored chest pool. What you mean it was before giving you a better chance than the favored chest pool? It's like, okay. Yeah, that sounds like a bug. All right, items and rewards. Ubari Guild earrings of Bright Sea Star, as well as its recipe, have had their names fixed. And the description of the word Luckstone socket has had a typo fixed. And miscellaneous removed deprecated legendary categories from the auction house. And that's it for the latest updates for update 40. And with the first round of testing for the underground areas, this week's casual stroll through with scenario was through the catacombs in there. So we got our first look at that. In fact, that's where we got the warning where he showed us in the middle of the spider area. He was showing, okay, whatever you do, don't go to that location right over there because you will lose your character. And he said, yes, they do expect to have that fixed before next week's Bulwer thing because they're expecting another Bulwer next week. And I think it's next week is the next expected one where I'm hoping things are more stable and that we have extra time because this week's they had opened on Thursday and that they were closing on Friday. So there was very, very little time. And the lag there was,
Oh, is Bullroar worse than the normal servers?
well, normally not as bad as it was on Friday. I tried going there Friday at noon. And it looked like maybe just everyone decided to go in there at once. And essentially every time I tried logging in, it then would, at the first step that I hadn't succeeded in doing yet so far, it would then lock up. So it was the first time it would lock up, loading up. Second time it locked up on the loading screen. Third time it locked up trying to load my character. Fourth time it locked up when I tried to go into the Isengard so that into the Bloody Eagle so I could try out the new mission. At that point I said, oh, forget it. I don't have any more time left. My lunch hour's over. It's like, so yeah, that didn't work out very well then. And so yeah, Bulwer wasn't in its best at that moment. Now it could be that because Bulwer opened up so late, I was doing this on my lunch hour, and of course that meant it was during Cordovan's stream. So since I was watching the stream, it could be bandwidth was being taken by that or something like that. So it could have been a combination of that. But whatever, I didn't get a chance to really try out the new mission or anything like that due to those little fun things. Maybe next week things will be more stable. Let's go into our store sales then. Cinders, what's on sale this week?
On sale this week, it is the final weekend to get double bonus points. So you can get twice the bonus points in the Lotro store through April 28th. You can also start a new journey and get 30% off of character slots, select veteran status, stat packages, XP boosts through Thursday, May 2nd, and also the weekly coupon for those of you who still need them. Free dwarf candles, green times 25 and red times 25 with coupon code SPOTLIGHTS, SPOTLIGHTS. Also through May 2nd.
Now, Cordovan thinks that this might be the first time that they experimented with giving out two items at the same time, meaning a set of 25 green and a set of 25 red. So as I said last week, he's doing a couple experiments with the menu with them. And I guess doing the experiment with the dwarf candles is one of the relatively fine because there's a part of the population that needs them for role playing or for performance reasons, and there are other people who says not dwarf candles.
I was looking at
I
that,
wonder
going,
what.
I think my Christmas decorations for the for my
Oh,
house
that's
will be
interesting
solved.
because right when Pine Leaf had mentioned the dwarf candles, I went, "No dwarf candles."
I have so many of them. I'm like, what would you even use them for? Like
I
what?
think didn't I tell you guys when I cleaned out my inventory and I was so proud I had like cleaned out one of my backpacks completely, which was unheard of. And then I opened that stupid package and got like an assortment of dwarf candles that filled my entire back up. I was so mad. But they are pretty. I mean, they are.
Yeah.
They are
It's
pretty,
not-
but they also take up a lot of space.
yeah.
Yes. In DDO, there's something called DD. It's called Bigby's pointed finger, and it's so obviously it's based on the D&D spell, and essentially it seems to fill the same role as dwarf candles does, except it might could be useful because it does point this way.
Well, okay. What about a dwarf candle carry-all?
Dwarf candle carry.
I was just thinking a dwarf candle carry-all would be awesome.
I could. That is something that I think they could probably sell quite a bit of those because the ones who really, really want the dwarf candles are probably just are suffering the capacity they're taking up, and the ones who don't want them, at least, well, they could get sifted away to somewhere else. If just in case they're a pack rat that doesn't want to get rid of them, just in case they need them someday.
I don't know anybody who would have that problem. I would definitely go for one of the small bags though that only has like 10 slots because then it would be just big enough for all of that. And then I wouldn't be like,
Yeah.
I have, 48 more slots.
Yeah, I think that most definitely a small one is probably going to be sufficient for most people.
Let's say, because how many colors are there? There's only what, a handful, right? Just
Yeah,
Well, how many are in a stack?
well, if they're in that, they can stack up to what, 1,000, 500, something like that. In the
I
carry-alls?
forgot. I forgot what the small carry-all capacity is.
I don't know.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, that's our coupon code this week: green and red dwarf candles. Now let's go into some community news where the Shirefest 11 musician signups are now open. Shirefest is, I think it's the most well-known of all the special events on Crick Hollow, and this is June 21st through 23rd. They have signups for bands that are 55-minute slots. They also have some slots that are reserved for soloists where each soloist takes up a rotating slot within that time with that time period in there. So they won't have long sets like them, but there's some opportunities for those who have their own little shows on there. But right now, mostly though, this is time to get it. Event is June 21st to 23rd, so that is a little bit less than 2 months away, and signups are open now. As I said, though, this is on Crick Hollow, not on Landrel or Laurelland. And that's it for the community news. So let's see about reminiscing. And Cinders, what are we reminiscing about this week?
Your favorite NPC in Lotro at this moment. So, like, maybe it'll change in future updates, and that's okay. But who is it as of today?
Krister, do you have an answer to this?
Well, yes, I do. Of course I do. There's one NPC that the first time I saw him, I was enchanted by him. and I get to see him on an annual basis. And my favorite NPC, of course, is the passed out hobbit. is is the passed out hobbit for our winter festivals. He is my favorite. When I first, I'll just never forget when just seeing him for the first time, and I'm just realizing I'm playing the right game. I am playing the right game. If this character is here, what's incredible about him, and this is something I didn't know until this last year, is that he's not there just. I always thought he was like. I always imagine him as like a traveling salesman. You know, he's out working hard all the year, and then he comes back for Christmas. He blows in. He's the one that sells the alcohol for the festival and stuff. So he gets all the sales done the day before the festival starts, and then he gets drunk and passes out, and he's out the entire festival basically. But from what I understand, he's there year round. So he's not just a traveling drunk. He is the town. I believe he is that particular little town's drunk. So I know that I'm a better captain for knowing him, and I think you're better people for knowing him too, frankly. So that's my favorite NPC.
My favorite. I'm going to go with Jajax. And he is, I guess partly because you're going to remember the NPCs that are currently active. And of course, he does come into some activity in Umbaran there, and he always has a way of. On the one hand, you kind of think, what exactly are his motives in here? He seems in one way a very, very nasty scoundrel, but other ways he seems to come through to you in the end in there. So I have to say, Jajax, a very interesting character on there, and I think he sort of is probably one of the reasons why many people are excited in order to be questing in Umbar in the first place. Cinders?
So, I think my favorite NPC is Radagast.
Radagast.
Yes. Because Radagast, like, okay, so, like, I'm not, like, a huge cottagecore person, but, like, I feel like cottagecore would be restful. And, like, Radagast is the ultimate cottagecore person in Lotro.
Okay, I will buy that.
And he's surrounded by pets all the time. Nobody cares how he looks. Right? He's just living his best life. Out with nature. I think that's fantastic.
Okay. the
Dead
third
silence.
wizard that everybody forgets about, right? Yes. All right, so that's what we got then. We've got a passed out hobbit, we've got a corsair, and we have a wizard.
A nice variety.
And Mary Rose agrees with Jajax.
Okay.
Even though Jajax made the teetotaler hobbit a drunk. And Sam says Bingo Boffin.
Well, yes, Bingo Boffin is one that was on my short list. I'm trying to decide which one to choose in there. It's a Bingo Boffin, especially consider all the time that you spend with Bingo Boffin. And how much you go through with him. He goes from being too scared to enter the Brandywine River to being able to face on a bunch of brigands at the end to it. So yes, I can understand. Well, Bingo Bob, he's definitely would be in my top 5. And
at some point, we should make a list And we should actually like publish that on Lotro Players News. Be like, favorite NPCs and why.
Okay, so do you want it done as a top 10 or as a tier list?
Ooh, I don't know.
Could you imagine a tier list? Okay, where would you put Mazog?
At the very, very bottom.
Oh wait, what? Huh? Are you sure about that? Now let me put another name out there for you. Sarah Oakart.
One above Mazog.
Well, yeah, but a tier list, you can have multiples in the bottom because usually in tier lists, you've got you have this F tier at the bottom, and you can say whatever. The thing about
I think maybe it should be our top 10
okay,
favorites.
yeah, top 10. Then if we went to, then you would need also a bottom 10 if names like Mazog and Sarah Oakart are going to appear on it.
But like if we just made our top 10 favorites,
Yeah,
then you don't have to put those on that unless Mazog is one of your top 10 favorites.
I'm sure that
Right? Like you don't have to have a
unless you're
bottom
doing
10 and a top 10.
now. One possible. Some people might put them on this top 10 if he were on a list of villains.
But we were doing our top 10 favorite.
But we're talking about favorite NPCs in general, and that usually villains don't appear on such lists unless that villain was. I mean, some might put Belandor on that list or something like that because of the way he grows in the whole thing, but I can't think of.
Well, it depends on how you're determining your favorites, right?
Right.
So, like, I picked my favorite for totally different reasons than you did. And Krister's favorite wouldn't probably have even crossed your mind as, like, a legitimate NPC to label.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, there is that.
So there's a possibility that somebody would be like, Mazog is my favorite because his storyline is a riot.
I'm not too sure I would call it a riot.
Well, like, maybe they're like the adventure and all of the little races that you have to do. Like, it could make somebody's top 10 favorites.
I suppose so.
Depends on why they're your favorite.
Pineleaf, is this a roundabout way of you trying to tell us that Mazog is your favorite? That's kind of how I feel this has all been going. This has been building up to.
I think
definitely not.
I think Pineleaf just wants to be able to put Mazog on a list.
So
no, down at the bottom.
Yeah. Anyway, now I might put him on a list of NPCs I'm most likely to fish slap. I mean, I think he will have a well-earned spot in that one.
And maybe that's why they're on your top 10 favorites is because you just like to fish slap them.
But then I've noticed that a lot of people put Celebrimbor on that list also.
I mean, again, just because they're fun to fish slap. I mean, that is the criteria. Somebody who loves fish slapping might do that.
I mean, Sans Windows is probably the only person who would put Celeborn on a top 10 list of favorite NPCs.
Yeah.
So yes, you do find everyone to have their own little things in there.
That's right, because another guy, my top 5 would be the orc that says, "Would you like that Pansear?" Because the first time I ever heard that, we had to stop doing what we were doing and laugh and laugh and laugh. So,
see?
Yeah.
It's those moments of joy between the carnage that
I can imagine. Let's go to our week in gaming and see what we've been up to. Krister, what have you done?
Well, last night we organized another expedition into the depths, and I believe it went really well. We had a couple noobs who didn't know what they were doing.
Yeah,
we managed to drag them through anyways.
One of
really
us was not a total noob.
Yes. Well, I have to admit that I was, and
As
But we
we
had a
out
good.
ourselves here.
Well, yes, and that once I figured out that okay, that's what you wanted me to do with Murder of Crows and everything.
Oh yeah, yeah. And that's what you get once you see it. It's
Well, once I know
straightforward.
what they want me to do, and sometimes it takes a little while for it to get into the mind.
But what was cool about last night as well is you can see where we can't employ if we put our mind to it, we can raid. And so I think what's been cool about it is to see how many people we've got that know what to do, know the timing, know the elements of the fights. And so it went really smooth there. And what I really like, my favorite moments in Lord of the Rings have been where things go wrong. And then my favorite thing, of course, is somebody going, oh, it's over. Oh, we're not going to make it. Oh, okay. Oh, it's a wipe. It's a wipe. And then it's not a wipe because everybody just sits there and does their job and we recover from it.
Yeah,
So
yeah, that's like last night when you I think you did the scrolls, and
you didn't like it. Well,
yeah,
hey,
I
you know
didn't like
what?
it because
I
you didn't
don't
put.
understand what was wrong with my scroll.
Oh, okay. Well, no,
Besides the fact that they were expired by maybe 2 or 3 years, but
yeah, yeah, they're complete. So anyway, I threatened that says, "Don't worry, when we wipe, I'll bring up my own scrolls."
that's
We never wiped.
yeah, that was pretty funny when I wasn't even thinking when I did the routine last night, and somebody pointed out that everything you've done is horrible. But regardless, what was great about it was the last fight went very smoothly, and Cinders did a great job tanking the head and being aware of when we were coming back for ads and switching sides. And as you can see, Gia was great at managing the entire last fight there too. And so I'm glad we were able to finish it with you guys there too. That was a lot of fun. It went really smoothly. I'm just getting really nervous. It's one thing to do it in story mode, but T2 is going to be everybody has to be on their toes. So I think that really gets to the point where T2 is going to be about gear because we know the tactics and we can adapt to the T2 tactics on top of that. But it's going to be showing up with our best basically. So I'm looking forward to it and I'm nervous. But anyways, last night was successful. We had a lot of fun. And then I was looking at some of the old games in my library, and I reloaded this driving simulator called BMNG, which is has like soft body physics to it, which is great because all the cars can literally the engine can like fly out of the car if you crash it just right. And they have this one map where it's just like volcano on this island, and you start at the top of the volcano, and you just drive yourself off the cliff, and then just see how the car smashes and comes apart as it falls. So it's a really fun game. It just reminds me of crashing your Hot Wheels together when you were a little kid. Um, so I've been having stupid fun with that. And then besides that, ESO, doing some shipbuilding, Starship Evo. Been playing a little Helldivers 2 and Baldur's Gate 3 with my friends. So it's been a very active gaming week, actually. Cinders, how about yourself?
So, I got to try the new skill rotation that I've been wanting to try on M, courtesy of Namflonius, and discovered that she is much more survivable in the raid that she participated in, despite some of her traits and things not being quite as high as they would have liked to have had them be. By they, I mean me and Namflonius. But she is much more survivable. She only died, I think, once last night, and I was with that group that defeated Makta Corbo Tier 1. So that was exciting to finally get there. I had gotten so close the last time that I had done it. We had gotten all the way to the boss and had just wiped, like, in the last couple minutes of the thing. And so doing that again was fun. And I would much rather be the main tank doing that than the off tank. So thank you, Krister, for running that role. After having off tanked the previous time, that was not fun, and I would much rather do what I did last night. And then I played Stardew Valley a lot this week again. I've made it to level 85 in the mines all by myself, and I'm so proud of myself because I hate the mines. And I am one duck egg away from a greenhouse in spring year 2. So I'm holding on in there, and I'm hoping to get done. I also found diamonds, so that was exciting.
Oh, hold on that. I'm trying to figure out how a duck egg is related to a greenhouse.
Don't ask.
It's one of the bundles.
Duck eggs and diamonds.
Duck eggs and diamonds. Yep.
Duck eggs and oh, okay.
Yes. So my sturgeon pond now can have 3 sturgeon in it. And then the bundles in the community center, the last thing I either need a duck egg or I need sheep's wool. And it was easier to acquire a duck egg than it was to get the next upgrade for the big barn. So I went ahead and got myself the coop upgrade, and I have 2 little ducks, 2 little ducklings that are growing, and as soon as they give me an egg, I will get to have my greenhouse fixed, and I'll be able to grow crops year-round to make lots and lots of money. And then all the rest of it will be a piece of cake. Pine-Leaf, what were you up to?
All right, I'll begin with my warden, who headed back to the Shield Isle. Since I've finished everything in Umbabahabel, I decided, all right, I'll go back to the Shield Isles, pick and take care of some stuff that I left behind there. Because, okay, when I'm recording this thing and someone says, "This is very urgent, we must go now," I take it seriously. So I go now. I said, all right, I got these side quests in here, and I said, I think I just did one more quest after. Actually, no, I have one more group of quests because when they said we must go as soon as possible, I said, all right, but I needed to check up on these orcs that are down in that area. And when I finished checking out those orcs, and I came back there, then we went straight to Umbar Bahar, I'm not to the Cape of Umbar after that, and I skipped the rest of the Shield Isle. So now I'm coming back since I've done the main quest line in there. I'm coming back there, and I'm hoping to finish off the Shield Isles before Update 40 gets released, so that I'll be able to not have to worry about what's happening back in the Shield Isles when I get back. Then I had 2 lore masters actually I was playing, because my junior lore master finished up with the Stag Clan, and I headed into the Bone Vales, and so did a few quests in that area. But the main reason I decided to go into the Bone Vales at all, because since I had done the Stag Clan, you can skip the Bone Vales, at least in the eyes of the epic in there. But the reason why I went to there is because of my lore master is a scholar, and it's the Bone Vale side that has all the scholar mats. And I didn't take that into account when I chose which direction to go. So I decided, all right, I have to go back and get all the scholar mats that I was skipping in there. And yes, I know I could just go back there off camera and all that stuff, but where's the fun in that? So yes, but my senior lore master, that one went into the raid last night, and finally that means became my first character to complete that raid. Yay, thanks, Krister.
Absolutely.
Yes, and I was able to see that, yes, the raid leaders are taking into account things like murder of crows and being able to know how to work with murder of crows and dealing that and rotating that with oathbreakers and the like. And so I presume that if there was a mariner there, they would have been also taken to the third possibility if they had one of the right.
Probably.
Right went in there. Right? So it looks like that. Yes, we have some people working in there who seem to be all together and knowing what they're doing. And they're probably is that someone who's done the raid at other person, or is this a ploy person who was doing this and has been learning the raid?
So Nam was has joined Ploy recently, and he's he was the initial person we were getting a lot of our knowledge from, and now we've had several people that have been running it as well. So everybody's trying to uh, master it. Really, people really want to do the hard raid, and so that's what's great about it. Is a lot of people not only know the tactics of each pull, but they also know what they're supposed to do as well. And so that's what was great about it, was like we were doing, and that's what's great about doing it in the more. That's what I like about the Friday nights being more casual in terms of we can have you come in Pine Leaf with your lore master, and then you only had to be told once. So, and that was what was funny about that was when Gio was like, "Okay, murder crows," like, but the crocodile.
Okay.
but that was fine too, because that once you understood,
But once I
uh,
understood, I didn't use it
yeah,
off
you did it.
case anymore.
You
Yes.
absolutely executed it right when you needed to every single time after. So and
Right.
that and so that's what was great about having Gia there too. It's just having her manage it, because as you saw, it's a pretty complex series of things we have to do, and especially paying attention to those sturdy tentacles, because if
Yeah.
those get out of control, that can just wipe us. And so it's
Yeah.
really exciting, I think.
So I'm looking at this. I say, and that's story mode.
I know. Well, we tried we decided one night to try the boss one on T2.
Yeah.
And it was just the initial pull just destroyed us instantly. They didn't even try. It was like they glanced over at us and we all dropped dead. So it's like, okay, we do have some work ahead of us, don't we? So,
Well, but Glory said that she completed the first boss at tier 2 with another group.
yeah, now Glory's been raiding with I think of course a much more hardcore group than us.
Okay.
And I think they, if I'm understanding it correctly, they're doing T2 pretty consistently. T3, I think T3 is still a big challenge. I want to say maybe she said they tried T4 and then immediately gave up. So
you know where you belong.
yeah, it's pretty embarrassing. That's what's so funny about it, is when you have just even a breadth of hubris from completing story mode, and then you walk into T2, and you're like, oh, okay. All right, my ego's been shattered. Okay, then back to
Yes.
story mode.
Tier 2 is when they add the real mechanics. Tier
Yes.
3 is when they dial it up to the real raid. Tier 4 is just in case you thought that there was nothing more that we could do to you. And Tier 5, I have no idea what they're doing, but I'm staying away from it.
You hate yourself. That's right. Tier 5 means you hate yourself.
But anyway, when the goals in there was being able to at least finally being able to do this, and I'm hoping that Sinners and I can get back to the storyline so that she could experience what happened. And we still need to get Krister to a point where he understands the context of this raid, because he hasn't got to the point yet where this raid happened. So he doesn't know, okay, why is all this happening?
Krister is the captain equivalent of the Hulk. You just point over there and you go smash.
Ah! Okay, that explains a great deal. Then on my Mariner, I headed into Mirkwood in order to start a long escort mission, which is getting ready to demonstrate to me why Mazo will never appear on my top 10 list.
Unless it's the top 10 least favorite.
I'm not too sure I would use top 10 and least favorite with the same list.
I mean,
it just sounds odd putting those two together. I will say, no, I would say 10 least favorite, which has the implication it's a bottom 10 instead of a top 10 list.
I don't know. I rank my enemies the same way I rank my favorites, so.
Well, when I rank enemies, I would rank. See, because if I was going to rank top 10 enemies, I will think about my favorite ones to play against. And super annoying enemies would not make such a list.
Fair enough.
Yes. And let's see. Okay, that's right. There's one thing when I was talking about going back to the shield aisles, there was one other item I mentioned, and that is one of the things West I went back to was the would-be shantyman,
Mm-hmm.
and in there where she's making a big deal.
Oh, Krister hasn't done this one yet, and we really need to have him do this one. It's like the needle in a haystack one.
What?
Yes.
Which one? The would-be shantyman or?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Who can make the tide rise?
Okay.
Fill it all with shells.
The shantyman
Yeah.
can.
Anyway, but anyway, there's one point in there where she wants to fight this giant crab called Shelly. And I am going there because it's been a while since I've done this quest. And so I'm picturing this huge crab, maybe a little bit smaller than the proto, because it's actually near where the proto is.
Yes, it is.
And so I'm expecting this big crab, maybe on the size of the one you get the pearl from in in the Cape of Umbar.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm expecting this big Frankenstein's crab in this area. And then I see to it, and I almost missed Shelly because it's the same size as the rest of the large crabs in the area. If it's larger than it, you would have to put it right next to one of the others so that I could see the difference in the size. It's not obvious to me that they're of a different size in there. And I say, this is the crab that you must make a big deal about. We have to come and fight.
To be fair, that particular NPC has some questionable
Okay.
some questionable theories on life.
Okay.
And
yeah, okay.
size and danger and
yes. I would say that yes, coming from her, I guess you got a point there. It's right. It is coming from her. You're right. So yes. So that's why I was just surprised there and felt underwhelmed by the enemy that we eventually fight. Probably because of some of the large crabs that I guess if you're doing it in the proper order and you haven't run into the proto crab and you haven't run into the larger ones that are on the Cape of Umbar or the bosses from those two crab ones from the missions, then Shelly might look impressive.
no. So remember when we did that the first time and Shelly was bigger? I think they scaled Shelly down, actually.
Yeah, you do have a point there. I was wondering, I was trying to see if I could find in a release note somewhere about them talking about scaling it down. I think they might have actually have scaled it down a little bit too much because I think they were trying to make sure that it was distinct from the proto.
Yeah, that was what they were going for, because remember, we hit the proto first, and we were like, is this Shelly? And we took it out, and then we actually saw the name on Shelly, and we were like, oh, okay.
That's right. We accidentally went after the proto.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I had a feeling that was that, and maybe that's why the first time I did it, it didn't stick in my mind as being weird, but this time it did because I was thinking Shelly was larger, but probably because Shelly used to be larger.
I think she did used to be larger, and also you were kind of panicking in the moment because you realized what I had smacked, and
because you
thought we were going to die. Oh, it was not an accident. I was like, what is this one? And you were like, I don't know. I was like, smack. And you were like, oh no.
Yeah, I do tend to panic when starting a fight against an elite. Is the proto elite master or
I don't know. I just was like,
Nemesis.
this
Okay.
one says it's this. And you were like, I don't know. I was like, is it like, something you have to have a whole raid to defeat? And you were like, I don't know that they have any of those. And then I was like, well, let's see if we can survive this. Smack. And you were like, ah!
Exactly.
And we survived. It was great.
We will survive. Yes. Well, we were a Guardian plus Rootkeeper, I think.
I don't
That's a
remember
good
which one you
combo.
were with.
Yeah, which one I was with at the time.
Yeah.
Probably my Rootkeeper in there. Yes, and let's just say it's a very effective combination.
Yeah.
Yes.
I do damage and she soaks it.
Yes.
Yes.
It worked. So.
If you would like to send us an email, you could send it to podcast@lookplayers.com. The Players Alliance has 2 shows on Saturdays at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. We record Look to Players News and we record DDO Players News when Drac is available. And you could join us for our shows at lookplayers.com/live. And that is all for tonight. And this is Piney Mules reminding you to skirmish responsibly.